To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you. So our October 2 Jefferson County Local Development Corporation meeting is called to order. And our minutes are on page 3, if they've been reviewed, if they can be accepted as presented.
So moved.
We have one motion, a second, please.
I'll second.
So we've got Dave first, Ed second. Any other discussion or comments? Barring any, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? That motion carries. Paul, page 5, treasurer's report.
Did everybody hear me okay?
We
Yeah.
can.
Yep.
It was a pretty boring month in all reality from what I've seen in the financials. Nothing major to report. The balance sheet looks in order. That's just something somebody else picked up. That's about it. There was an advertising expense, I believe, to the Thousand Island Regional Tourism, which is a big expenditure this month outside the grants. That's about it.
We have a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
We have a motion, a second, Don. Any other discussion or questions for Pauline or Lyle? Barring any, all in favor to accept the report?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? That motion carries. Committee reports, we'll move into the budget, which is page 1920. So the Finance Committee met. We have a proposed budget, and I'll let that be explained. What am I supposed to explain? I guess the sheriff can. Who is the sheriff? I should know. You think I should?
Chair of the.
Oh, Paul. Oh, okay. I knew it was one of 3 people. I just had to see the other one. Sorry, Paul. You're the chair of this, so I guess go through the budget.
I would love to give the report, but we had Rob number 2 chairing the meeting, I believe, since I was remotely.
Okay, so Rob and Chuck, you were here.
Yep.
I guess if you want to fill in the blanks.
Ultimately, it was a review of the preliminary budget for 2026 to bring to this board. To me, it was pretty straightforward. There's a few questions about more health insurance, dental related, with some changes in staffing. Some of those numbers dropped. Nothing stood out as not ordinary. I don't know how deep you'd want me to go into this, but it is attached, and hopefully you've all had a chance to review it. Anything else to add?
The health insurance number for last year was 71,000 compared to 130. Last year should have been 120. I do it with spreadsheets and my formula was screwed up, so.
Yeah, I think there's a question there. But
So what was the real actual difference from last year to this year then?
About $10,000.
Oh,
which would
okay.
make sense.
All right. So that puts that huge gap to rest. The healthcare costs didn't go up that much for that plan.
No.
There's a big jump in the administrative fee revenue side. That's just gonna come off the IDA budget essentially, because that's who pays this. Right?
That's the way I understood it.
I mean, it's 130,000 increase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which you don't pay anyway.
No, I'm just, yeah, exactly. Hey, it's all one big happy family. But yeah, it is an increase, and that, office rent, also a big jump, and that was an expense side. Went
Well,
from
but
18,500 to 58.
last year we were paying off the loan in
Okay.
addition to the office rent. So
Okay.
while it appears to be a lot more money, the loan is paid off. So.
Okay. Well, I guess we had a discussion, had a motion, so, sorry. Do we have a motion to accept the proposed budget, and then we can discuss more?
So moved.
Yes.
Lisa, and
Second.
I'll put Paul as second. yes at the same time. So any other discussion? I mean,
I just have a question.
ultimately it's 500 something but less.
You know, and I guess, I don't know why I'm thinking of it now and probably didn't look at this, but is there any labor numbers? Did they, or the labor budget, did that go up for, are there any new hires throughout the course of next year that we should anticipate or?
There will be a new hire towards the end of this year.
Okay.
Well, but will it actually be a net gain? I mean, with one retirement and one isn't,
Yeah,
the
it'll
new
be
hire will be
pretty similar.
displacing the
Yeah.
retirees. So.
Yes.
I mean, there was a buffer put on the salary number anyway, some percentage. Seeing that that's increased not a substantial amount. Any other questions or discussions on the proposed budget? It is an overall decrease, even though there's a lot of ups and downs.
Is there allowance for like overlap for a little while? For training or?
I don't know if we included an overlap. There will be probably about a 6-week overlap, maybe as much as 8 weeks.
Thank you.
What was the amount of that loan that was paid off? Because that was our reconstruction loan for all this new office space. Wasn't it around 250? What was it?
Oh, I just looked at that. It's $104 a square foot. I can't remember the amount. I think it was around 2 something.
Yeah.
That's pretty cheap. No.
Alright.
You got it a good bargain.
All in favor of the proposed budget, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Okay, the proposed budget is now not proposed anymore. Council. I should ask, if anything else under the finance committee? I think that was the only matter, right? Okay. Council reports, Ag, Jay.
Not a lot to report this month, sir. A lot of things that we've been working on, we're continuing to work on. Got to bring the dairy workforce focus group back together in October. We're going to start, thanks to Rob encouraging it, we're going to start working on the conference for next spring. Rob Aiken, and the dairy parade. So we're going to pull those committees together. We're talking with our hatchery folks about, the potential that they might want to build a new hatchery sometime in the future, although we have a lot of work to do to encourage them to stay in New York State. So there's a lot going on, but it's nothing new. So I'll keep my report short unless folks have questions.
No, we can move, thank you. We can move to manufacturing marketing, get co-mingled sometime.
Yeah, this one will also be a little commingled. I would say we're pleased to report that we do have Manufacturing Day coming up in 15 short days.
Correct.
Today we're going to be doing the annual matrix where we place the schools at the manufacturers for the kids' tours. This is always a lot of fun. And it's kind of a little tricky, but we get through it every year. It's not a huge deal, but as everyone knows, manufacturing is a great program along the lines of a number of great workforce development programs that we have, including Career Jam, Workforce 2020, Manufacturing Day, as everyone I'm sure remembers, is where the kids go to the manufacturers and tour their plants and sort of follow along what their processes are in manufacturing their goods. And it's a great program, and the kids always get a lot out of it. We do try to focus on helping the manufacturers or guiding them to have the sort of tell the kids what it takes, what sort of prerequisites they need to get a job there. It's rarely a college degree. And it's just a great program. Probably about 1,800 kids?
No,
No, not this one.
No, No, it's probably around 600.
600 in this one? I get
It
confused
gets a little
with the
enthusiastic.
Career Jam.
It is.
It's a good program.
We're needing to schedule 24 tours this year.
Yeah.
I think we have 13 manufacturers. Hopefully we get a couple more because it'll be tricky between Lewis County and Jefferson County.
Yeah, we got one last night.
Yes,
Forwarded
thank God.
to you.
Yeah, which
Yep.
is, yeah, I saw that. Yep. So it'll be good. Bad manufacturers love it. The kids like it.
One thing on the marketing front, our program that we have with strategic development specialists, we are going to be touring the Micron site with Onondaga County leadership in a couple of weeks, and greatly looking forward to that. That continues to be a good program. Our conversations with them are productive, and looking forward to that.
Do any of the tours involve like local government or teaching institutions?
No, it's strictly manufacturers.
Oh, only manufacturers.
Yeah, because it's
Okay, that's
it's
what I
actual
thought
manufacturer day. It's an actual national program. It's not just what we're doing here.
I should have figured it out by the time.
It's all good.
So all those tours are taking place within a few hour period, like a 6-hour period on that day?
Yeah, on that day.
Yeah. Usually most of the schools, of course, have to be back by 2. Some can only do 1 tour, but most of the schools want 2 tours. So that's coordinating that and, travel time and everything. And one school wants as many as they can get, but we have to remember we got to give them lunch. So it's a logistics fun nightmare, but it turns out to be a good program.
Or get them back for lunch. We're not buying them lunch.
No, we don't buy,
Clear
no,
about
we
that.
have to give them time.
Yeah.
If they have like a 1 o'clock tour, we have to make sure, kids need to eat.
Yeah, they do indeed.
Anything else under?
No.
Okay. Jay had one thing to add.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I apologize. I forgot to mention it. The Jefferson Leadership Institute, I'm one of the facilitators for the first day, which is the Leadership Training Day. So we had that last Friday, and then they have Agriculture Day as their first day of their year. That's next Friday. And we have the 24 participants. They'll start at 8 o'clock in the morning. We get them on a bus. They're going to go to Great Lakes Cheese first. Then they're going to go to Zor Farms, who grows asparagus, and he has a nut orchard, and he does value-added maple syrup products. Always very interesting conversation with him. Then to Steve Winkler's farm, which is a livestock operation and a lot of farm to school, farm to institution program knowledge that he has. Then we're going to go to the Soil and Water Conservation District. They'll do a presentation. We have lunch there. Then from there, we go over to North Harbor Dairy, where they're going to have 3 stations on technology, livestock, and animal care. So they'll get a pretty comprehensive view of dairy farming there. Then we take them to the ag park. Unfortunately, we can't get them into the hatchery, but we explain the hatchery, we explain the ag park, and we throw in a little side note because they are asking about it. Actually the multi-purpose event center. I have Mike Campbell coming in to give them a quick 5-minute overview of that while we're at the ag park. And by the time we get done with all of that, it'll be 4 p.m. and they'll be tired.
That's a logistical nightmare. I just heard 3 big visits before noon. Wow.
Yeah.
And the tour, the chamber is adamant that we have to do the tour of a dairy plant. Whether I go south or north, it's up to me. But they want that tour of a dairy plant because that's the favorite part of the class every year. And Great Lakes Cheese and HB Hood do a fantastic job. We go through every corner of the plant. And the one thing I tell the participants when they get on the bus first thing in the morning is that there's no question off limits. Any question they have on agriculture, workforce, economic development, we will do our best to answer it while we're on the tour. So it's a fun day. It's exhausting by the time you're done. So
Thanks for the.
Leaving with
Yeah.
a lot of cheese.
I kind of
for you, too.
chuckled because I've never known Mike Campbell to do a 5-minute.
I'm in charge, so it's 5 minutes.
All other questions.
Did I hear you say
Yes.
What type of, nuts is it?
He does walnuts, boy,
Hazelnuts?
yes, I think hazelnuts,
Pecans don't grow.
not pecans.
Peanuts are in the ground.
Not peanuts. Walnuts and hazelnuts definitely. I think there's one other nut tree that he has there. But I
Filberts, maybe, they're like
Yeah.
brown, some nuts.
but it,
Those plantings that have occurred since he, I mean, were they trees that were there, or was it something he's planted?
he's planted. I think there were some native trees there, but he's done. I mean, you don't know it's there until he gives you the tour. It's a really great, interesting tour, and it's the only operation of its type that I'm aware of in northern New York. So it's really, really interesting to go through. And the asparagus.
It's kind of interesting that you can cultivate those type of nuts in North Bend.
Yeah.
Robin, you usually lead us through things, the ARPA profile.
Yep, as you see, we had, a business reimbursement. I will say next month, you'll see activity in round one under the Houndsdale sewer because we've gotten the work has been done and we got some payments that we're sending out. So that you'll see, that'll knock down quite a bit on round one for next, but not till next month, which is, but that's through the IDA, not the LDC. But we're working at knocking out, you'll see on round one, small business, we're down to $3,000. It's a very small project if one comes in. And same with tourism, we're down just to 44. So we're knocking these out, and Jay's working hard at getting the agricultural to knock those out. So any questions on those? Been a great program.
Thank you. Nothing's listed for council. I'm assuming nothing from you, Justin?
No report.
Okay, thank you. That's a report. Thank you. We're good. In new business, page 24, we have two proposed ARPA grants under small business productivity. Who wants to lead? Kind of just to know. I mean, we can
Go
read what they
Oh,
are,
me too,
but
okay.
if you want to give an overview.
Yeah, it's two businesses, Boathouse Marine. They're requesting for replace a trailer that pulls the larger boats out of the dockage. He had one and it's just not fixable, it's rusting and everything. And that'll help production, otherwise he has to farm out to it, subcontract it out. And as you see, those go anywhere from 30 to 45,000. And he's been trying to find used, can't find a used one anywhere. And to buy new, he won't be able to buy it. He has to order it now, won't be able to buy it till spring. So that is definitely a good value business productivity grant that's available. And the last one is Spoken Expressions. They are a t-shirt printing company locally. Actually, a retired veteran owns the business, and they've been around a while. They want to purchase a press stand, a couple pieces of equipment just to help them make them more efficient where they are. Their equipment's older. It's not a huge project. The total cost is $8,305. So their grant would be $6,000, just over $6,000.
Okay. Thank you. So the total investment in these businesses, businesses are $53,300. The total funding recommendation, which is included in that, is $16,600. So we can do them sort of one at a time, or the Boathouse Marine is a funding recommendation of $10,000 out of the, call it 45 is the high side. We have an approval from the board on those. All in favor, aye. And then Spoken Expressions are 6,600 and some change out of 8,300 and some change. Again, what is that, like 75 or 80%? There's some threshold, right? Yeah,
80%.
whatever the maximum threshold was, it appears to be at that percentage. Do the board approve these as well? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
And then just skip the motions. They're kind of, I think we do this out of courtesy to approve them.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So what's the balance left after that distribution? In the fund, what would be left?
These ones that will be that low number. the
Yeah,
4,000.
that's it. These coming out, that's
That
3,000.
takes you to the 3,000.
Takes us to the 3,000. That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay, that leads us to the important aspect of adjournment.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Or bored? We're staying adjourned. Okay, we'll move to our next meeting, the Jefferson County Industrial Development Agency. Okay,
Bye, guys.
Bye.
you leaving too, Dawn? Bye, bye both of you, take care. So, page 3 are minutes, if they've been received and reviewed as presented, if we can have a motion to accept them, I appreciate it.
So moved.
Lisa, and Dave is the second.
Aye.
I did hear one, sorry. Oh, any other discussion, corrections? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed or abstained? The minutes carry. Paul, page 5, the treasurer's report.
We received application fees from 1 2 LLC. We're still gonna be short. I won't even talk about the pilot leaseback fees. Beating a dead horse. The balance sheet looks in accordance with expectations through the month to month. One thing we're gonna go back to Jay's, I'm gonna point out to the board, Southern Dairy. Just to give you an idea, if you look at the pilot tax receivables from Great Lakes Cheese, their pilot payment was $150,000, and I assume that was for school taxes, Lyle?
No, that's still part of the pilot, Paul. That increases by 10,000 every year for the next couple of years.
To give you an idea, the impact that a Southern Dairy project's gonna have on, money available to taxes, it's going to be sustained. So that's really good, in my opinion, just to see that type of number. Our outstanding, there wasn't a listing of the delinquencies, but it still appears that Painful Acres and the others are trying to get caught up. We're still receiving some interest from Conval on the loans, which amazes me. And other than that, that's the only thing that jumped out at me. That our total outstanding amount dues is, if you take the IDA out of it, is about $1.5 million of revolving loan fund receivables. So, nothing much more to report.
Okay. We can discuss further, motion to accept the report, or you want to make that, Paul?
Yes.
Okay, second. Bill. Any other discussion? So we will, later in the session, we'll try to do it at the very tail end. We do have to go into executive session for some personal and financial matters for certain. And, just because Paul mentioned the defaults, we don't really have a great update on Conval. Our council and their council have kind of gone back and forth on the payment process, the numbers and the timing. So like it's not dead in the water and it's not advancing very quickly. So we're kind of just waiting for an update on that. So we can discuss more in executive session and pepper Justin with questions which he may not have answers to because his partner needs to provide them. But that's all I can do in public. And then the rest we'll discuss in executive session if we decide to go to it. Thank you. All in favor for the report? Aye. Any opposed or abstained? We accept the report. Alternative energy. Anything new, Paul?
I have nothing to report.
Okay. I think the only thing we can report is from a meeting Marshall, myself, Bill, and Ryan had. We sent out notices to all the taxing jurisdictions everyone, school, anyone who can collect a tax has got a notice. And then plus the 4 or 5 large solar projects.
Yep.
Reminding them that this agency will be the head of the snake with regards to pilots, and that's probably a bad pun, but we will be the negotiator and collecting the funds, because we've had a couple taxing jurisdictions develop their own mechanism, and it's not worked out well for the communities that those projects reside in. You had said you have gotten some feedback.
I've gotten some positive feedback.
Any negative feedback?
No negative
Okay.
feedback.
That's really the most
Feedback,
important.
Yeah, I think 3, and they were all with schools, just sort of saying, hey, we, got your letter, we heard about this one.
Okay.
Are you familiar with them? And of course, there are ones we were all familiar with, so.
Okay. That's good. That's probably the only thing that fits under alternative energy. I just noticed that was in here. I don't think there's anything new under building and grounds.
Well, there may be, Rob.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Is that the proposed IDA application? The building we talked about, or is there something else?
There's nothing in that at this point, no.
We may have an application for something. I spoke with Marshall yesterday that I'd rather it originate in building and grounds, but it could be a co-meeting with one review.
Yes.
Because it's sort of a project that isn't a project.
Yep. There's
We'll
a
leave it at that.
number of
Because
moving
we don't know
parts.
what it is.
Yep.
But I feel it's a building and grounds-ish matter initially, but loan review can certainly either co-chair the meeting. So anyway,
And there's a new wrinkle.
stand by for a surprise, Dave.
And a new wrinkle too, so. which is
Okay,
great.
even better.
Be really
I'm on
fun.
both committees, so I don't-
There you go. Well, it just matters if you have to take notes and share a meeting. Let John do it. I don't know if any other committee members from Building and Grounds have anything else to add. I don't think there is. So Finance Committee, we bring ourselves to the budget. Paul, I guess you are still. Sure.
Once again, I refer to.
Oh, that's right. You probably didn't attend that meeting either. Sorry. Rob's gone.
Rob's gone.
But Chuck is
Oh,
here.
Okay, I'll try to.
No, was Chuck? Yeah, Chuck was here.
I was.
You were.
You see Rob move out fast.
Well, so I guess because you're sitting here in the room, you wanna, I can read the notes too. I mean, if you wanna.
Nothing to add other than the notes. The top figure that I don't have in front of me though covers, my understanding goes back to the, help me here, the LDC. And it's a journal entry, right, Lyle?
No, it's actually a cash transfer
A cash
for
transfer to
administrative services.
administrative services. That goes back to the LDC. And then there was no other really discussions with regards to this one because the expenses and all that discussion was with the LDC financials. So we recommended it. Approval, the budget for 2026, we recommended for approval.
Okay. The one that was presented. Okay.
As presented, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll do this one correct and we'll get a motion, then we can have discussion. So, do we have a motion to accept the proposed budget as presented?
So moved.
Bill? Second?
Second.
Lisa? Discussion. If there is any,
Rob,
yes.
the only thing I point out about what Chuck did is that, we have used the pilot lease back fees as a balancing.
Yep.
Mechanism. That's up about $60,000 from the previous year. So that's going to be once again the number to watch
Yeah.
going forward. Hopefully, if we get a large project like Southern Dairy moving forward, we can actually meet those numbers this year. So
Yeah. Okay. No, and that's fair.
fantastic.
That was the one I circled because it seems to be a plug number to make everything equal 0. But it's certainly not realistic to anticipate today that's the amount we'll collect.
So this will go along with our next meeting too, but we have money just sitting in that civic facility that we could get transferred over to the IDA. We did that years ago.
It's like 30,000.
There's like 40,000 or something like
It's
that.
not, nothing to sneeze at, but it is money.
I think we should look at doing that, so we can work that into our
But
income stream or.
essentially, if it can be used to
To
generate.
help offset the deficit.
Yes,
Well, I mean, at this point, it's a big deficit because I can't fathom, considering we've collected zero in pilot sales lease back fees so far this year, I don't think we're gonna increase that number, except for what Paul said. We've got a couple bigger projects that are off in the distance that may or may not happen in the next calendar year. It's a hard one. I mean, timing, I think the certainty of it being built in Jefferson County is higher than the timing of when it would close.
Let's hope.
That's
so.
my opinion. That's my opinion,
Let's
standing
hope
on the
so.
outside.
how nice it would be to have another RCI project.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, a lot of things went down. I had one question, Lyle, and I know they kind of go in and out, but the bad debt is zero in these. And I'm sure it's not.
We have a reserve already set up.
Okay.
And I didn't adjust it.
So we had already taken that advice from the auditors to do that whole, math project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Because it was fairly robust how it got there, but, okay, it happened to be zero and it sort of taints the expense side of this. Okay. Any other questions from anyone?
Just a comment. You know, we're looking at Southern Dairy as being maybe a project that's gonna help balance our budget a little bit, but when you look at the deadlines imposed on commercial solar development, something's gotta start happening there real quick. I mean, you've got three permitted projects that have to come under that deadline of calendar year 26.
And that was part of the reason we sent the notes, because we're getting zero feedback from these supposedly highly advanced projects. So
Very quiet.
how advanced are they? I'm sure they are, but they're not asking about tax incentives. So it's kind of hard to keep them even in the budget category.
Can I ask a question? Because when we did the finance committee, there was no balance sheet. And if the money that we're allocating as a loan, the balance sheet, I guess we're not liquid enough in the event that we really did have to loan 500,000. Where's that coming from the balance sheet?
Well, if it's on the IDA, it would be an RLF loan.
Yeah, there's
Out of
like
the restricted funds.
maybe 2.2 million-ish. It's from memory. There's some
Oh, so
some
that's
big numbers in
that's the
RLF.
kitty we can come.
That's the only source of funds we have that we can lend. The IDA can't lend any of its own money. It can only administer the RLF and the micro enterprise fund.
But you're right, that is being depleted every month by not
Yes, it
collecting
is.
some of these defaulted loans. You know, we've got maybe enough for 4 big jobs or 3 big projects, because I think we're capped out at some value. But, yeah, we need to get some of these
Rob?
projects. Yes.
Several months ago, if not longer, probably before Chuck was on the board, we had a discussion about reducing the maximum size.
Correct.
The discussion about potentially limiting or lowering the maximum we would loan to anyone because of that number, because of the diminishing amount of RLF. So
Yeah, correct. And I was using
I
$500,000
don't
in my
know
mind.
if we'd ever do a $500,000 loan.
I was using $500,000 in my mind. It's probably 250 is a more legitimate number, and then we might have enough for 8 projects. But either way, there is room for business growth, which is what the agency's mission is, but it's severely limited.
We are looking, anything that comes through from a loan perspective right now, we're looking at extremely closely.
Okay.
And probably right along with it, to answer the balance sheet is going to be a direct disbursement from the county to the IDA for operational.
I believe we already had a first and second, right, Peggy?
Yes.
Okay, I know I got that far, let me talk. And I know we didn't vote, so I didn't remember doing that part, so all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any abstain or,
Yes.
we passed that, the loan review committee, I think this was our applications of Dave.
We received a pilot application. Actually, we had it last month at our board meeting and it got moved to loan review because it was not complete at that time. From the Wilna 2 PV LLC. It's a 3 megawatt solar power plant in town of Wilna. We talk about a total project cost of $5,517,000. And we reviewed it. Along with that, we also talked about updating our application so that once these pilots are approved, the maximum time before closing is 1 year. And we'd like to see a $10,000 escrow account put in that would help offset our cost for attorneys and like that. In the event that they just drag it along and then they never close on the project, we got some money to cover our back end. So the planning board did move, planning board, yeah. Boy, that's years ago. The loan review committee did make a motion to send this application, and it's not anything other than to approve the acceptance of the application so it can continue to work on it to this board. So I would make a motion that we accept the application.
With that criteria.
There were
With
two,
that
there
criteria,
were
yes.
actually two contingencies. Have they been met?
So yes, in that we had talked, and I did send out a thing about the fee increase because we did kind of raise that to the $10,000 number. We talked about, and I know the chairman had said let's stick at the 10, but everybody else said let's go with the additional 5, which they did pay. So
They paid 5 plus 5.
5 plus 5.
Still 10.
So it did equal out.
The 10 was the same thing. It's like a new application would pay 10.
Yes.
It would
Yeah. So it would be the same.
be- It's the same thing. It's just we didn't get into the difference and distinction of that.
So they did meet those criteria. There are a couple little pieces on the application that we're still sort of working through, specifically page 12 and 13. Yeah, I would recommend accepting the application, unless Justin has a different perspective.
No, that's the plan.
Okay. We had a motion from Dave. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion? So we've gotten all of our fees paid. We have a nearly complete application. I mean, there's always stuff that
Little
gets
pieces.
scribbled in. Our council has indicated it's something we can work from. So
Quick
this,
So this is not an inducement.
no, this is just accepting the application. So
Was there any pushback on the fee?
Actually, there really wasn't.
we didn't ask for enough, is what my.
Nah.
When you don't get a complaint, you didn't ask for enough.
We left some money on the table.
First roll of business. Should have started at 50 for that. No, I think this is fair to take care of the initial legal costs that we've been left hung with on another application. Paul, this is just accepting the application, then we go through, we have no resolutions for reducement or any of that other stuff. Justin will have to create all of that once we get the remaining data.
I have we've talked about changing things relative to making it aware to everyone that the lifespan from our final action to closing, putting a definite date in there for these projects. This company works for me because they have like 12 to 15 projects in progress if you go to their website, and they've only built one. And another concern moving forward for me will be this reassignment. We've done several reassignments of things. I don't think we should allow the reassignment of a project unless they closed on the project, on the pilot. So let's assume Wilma Two decides in 4 months they're selling it to Ed Waldrop Solar, you know, I don't think we should allow the reassignment without going and starting the whole process again.
And that's hypothetical, of
Doesn't
course.
mean we'll turn it down, but you shouldn't, I don't want people going out there and being a developer, getting a project just down the road, us doing our thing, they don't close. And then they sell the project with a closed pilot, without a closed pilot.
I think that's a good idea. I support it.
We did amend the application to,
They were gonna vote on the
That should be something
Yeah.
included. One of the things.
Justin, do you have,
To start being, we've had several projects that left us holding the bag, and we have to look at how can we make sure it doesn't happen again, especially if it's one of these large ones. You know, let's think about, now you have the power authority having the ability to either do a loan or in conjunction with a project developer. You know, we have to think about what potential exposures we might have in a project if we, let's say, do a project with Borlex and then they sell it to the NIFA. How's that going to affect us moving forward?
I certainly don't disagree, but I do know there's some complexities on the financing. Justin, do you have any thoughts on preventing us, allowing a transfer if it hasn't closed?
Yeah, we already have controls in place for interim assignments. We always take a look at what is submitted in the application for an organizational chart. And, you know, belatedly often now, and that's our struggle, but when we get to a closing table, we verify that the organization is still the same equity structure as the application. And if there's been an interim tax credit equity transaction or some sale, we don't close. We bring them back to you for an assignment, and that's happened a couple times. So we act like a gatekeeper before closing, and when it actually closes, the leaseback agreement is specific. If there's any equity change above 50%, all the way to the top, you know, if it's some Canadian fund or whatever it might be, that they need to come to you for an assignment approval before that transaction closes. So we do our best to be gatekeepers, and Marshall can attest. Sometimes in the past, and it happened with Dave Zembeck a couple times, you know, you get through an approval process and you approach a closing, and then all of a sudden the conference call has a whole different cast of characters out there. That happens. So what we've done in your application and this round of adjustments for fee and closing deadlines, we can reemphasize that if there's any assignment during the application period, post-approval, and then certainly post-closing, that those are stringent assignment rules. And we're trying to hold the line on those things so you're aware of who your counterparty is at all times. With regard to NIFA, if there is a project of significant scale that they bring into their pipeline with a private party, a co-developer, NIFA does have the power to hold those real estate interests without a pilot. So as Paul mentions, it is a dynamic change from an IDA pilot that has revenue for taxing jurisdictions compared to NIFA going in and just having no pilot mandate. So it's a dynamic change for your constituent taxing jurisdictions. In that instance, they would have to terminate your pilot and then just go fully exempt using NIFA's profile. We haven't had that happen, but we'd certainly be aware of it coming and have to deal with an exit or a termination. So we can think about a breakage fee or something to protect the taxing jurisdictions, acceleration of all pilot payments or something. But that just hasn't come to our table quite yet.
Okay.
So Justin, under a termination criteria, say down the road with Power Authority,
for them to terminate the pilot, does that make them settle the terms? In other words, pay out the pilot? Or do they just, at whatever point they're into the pilot, that it's dismissed? Legal.
Yeah, every applicant and company, every counterparty you have has the power to simply send the IDA a notice, 30 days saying we're done here. And what happens mechanically in the normal course is that if they terminate, because they have the right, the date of termination, the project becomes fully taxable. And then the assessors, if they're doing it right, issue a stub tax bill within 30 days, or they undertake what is called omitted taxes. The next tax cycles, they get like almost a double bill. If there's an interceding exemption, in other words, NIPA's coming in to buy it, or they're going to put an interest in on the property, if that termination occurs and they do it the right way, the property would stay exempt with no pilot. And there's no breakage fee in our documents, no acceleration. It's typically a matter of right that they can stop using the IDA. We can think about prospectively if there's a scenario where the taxing jurisdictions might be left without any supporting revenue, pilot or otherwise. There may be instances where if they're under ORA's going to appear as an intervener, maybe mandating a host community agreement at the town level or the county level. That could be a backstop. I'm not sure if a school would have standing to be an intervener, but we can think about protective measures for large scale projects if that does occur.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You want to cover the second?
We're gonna vote on that one first, or?
Do we, I don't remember, we got talking. Yeah. We already got a
Wait,
motion
second.
second. Yeah, and then there was a question if this was for inducement or not, so yes, I thought very voted. All in favor to accept the Wilmington application, which is paid $10,000 in total, and we have controls in place.
Yes.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? So that carries.
So with that, I'd make a motion that we update our application to require, in addition to the application fee, an additional $10,000 in escrow, and to put a project closing date within 1 year of the approval, or they have to come back. And I'll make a motion for that.
Second.
In the discussion earlier, we had distinguished ORAS projects. We put a higher number in there. I don't know if we need to do that. There are a couple out there. So we discussed, because if you scroll up, it said 50 to 100. I don't know where those numbers came from. No, Justin, reading through here. So we talked about an ORAS style project, but I don't know, are they gonna fill out a pilot application? Because they're freaking exemption anyway. I mean, do they actually go through filling out an application and kind of go through loan review, or does it start with it's an exemption and full board? I don't know how, we haven't dealt with a big job like that, that's an exemption.
Justin, do you have any experience on that so far with ORAS?
With respect to intervener or?
No, well, so the question was, we had talked about, using your words, that it could be 50 to 100,000 escrow for an ORA style project. So my question was, do we need to put that in the application, and do they actually fill out an application, and does it go to loan review because it's already a deviation? Like, how do we document that there should be a larger escrow account?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, that's occurred a couple times. In counties we help out. Genesee's had thousands of megawatts go through their pipeline that ORAS scale. Franklin, we have a few right now going. In those instances, the IDA, and we can add this to our enhanced deposit language for 10,000 that we're talking about today,
Okay.
is that the IDA reserves the right to impose a higher amount of legal deposit in instances where a project is over a certain scale. And they've used discretion in Franklin. There's been a couple with $50,000 deposits. And really the background there is, it's not just to, put in the public hearing stuff and the typical resolutions. There's usually, and you've seen it, months and sometimes years of negotiations between the taxing jurisdictions and the company and the IDA. It takes time. And to land a deal at a project that scale and then endure the layers of financing to deploy it takes more time and money. So we could place a clause in there that the IDA reserves the right to require a higher amount of deposit in instances where there's industrial scale renewable, something as simple as that.
You want to amend your, I mean, the way that's worded actually covers it, based on project size and complexities, it's a minimum 10K.
Right.
So, I mean, that covers whatever number we want to reasonably come up with.
Yeah.
Or what Justin indicated, we can say it's a minimum of 10K for standard jobs and industrial scale, or, at the board's discretion, but that seems like you're singling someone out.
I kind of like the minimum 10K language.
Okay.
It gives
So-
us flexibility.
So kind of what it says there, if you want to restate the motion or amend the motion,
No,
or did you already say those? words?
basically, that's what.
Okay, yeah, if you already said those words, we're good. Yeah, so we had a first and a second. and-
Basically, but to restate it, based on a project size and complexities for a minimum of $10,000, as well as requirement to close the project within 1 year of approval of the project,
I think that covers every instance.
or the applicant will have to reapply.
Okay, we, Ed, you were the second?
Yep.
Okay, are you still a second with
Yep.
that amendment? Okay.
Yep.
Any other
Lisa was the
discussion?
second. Yeah.
Oh, Lisa was the second?
Yes, you're
Yeah.
the second.
I don't,
Okay.
I asked him and he said yes. I can't even remember if we voted today. It's one of those days.
We're all agreeable.
Okay. Lisa was the second. Are you good with the original second with the
Yeah.
amendments?
Yes.
I can't keep, that's why
Second.
I have to take notes. I couldn't keep track. Where are we? Okay, so all in favor with the motion and amendment and, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Okay, so we'll amend.
And I think that putting the 1 year in there will really reduce or limit them trying to sell it off to somebody else.
I think so.
What, like Paul's, I agree with his, concern, but I think that the 1 year, you're gonna see that.
I'm gonna skip over executive session for a moment. Is there any new business? Adele? Anything for council that might not already be covered in executive session, because I think you know the subjects.
Nothing right now, and
Okay.
we can deal with executive.
Okay, so, I've given the boards an update with an email, which, there's a couple options. It has to do with one of the particular defaults. And there may be some questions with the other default that's combo, that you can ask Justin that we shouldn't ask in public. So the question is, do we wish to go into executive session to talk about real estate and personal finances?
I move with motion.
Okay, so we got a first and a second. I'll say Bill and Paul. And we can keep all boards and staff and council, present. Okay, fair? Okay, basically everyone present. All in favor to go to executive session? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? We will, in a moment, go to executive session. And